you again for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Okay, Scott Duffner,
Here.
Mark Harris,
Here.
Wright Law is absent, Preston Pfeiffer,
Here.
and Jim Jackson.
Here. Okay. Approval of the agenda.
I have no suggestions for change on tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any further questions? All those in favor? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
Maybe we approve the minutes from the January meeting. I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the January 13th, 2025 regular school board meeting. Any questions? All those in favor? Motion carries. And review of the bills.
Uh-oh, we put October over. That's not a good sign. What are you trying to get us into, Joe?
Well, we didn't have four jumper cables, so it was quite interesting when little things came up that shouldn't have been a big issue that became a big issue.
Mhm, mhm.
But they're not going to be now.
No, except when the tires streaks to the ground. And then the tow strap works great.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
You're good.
Did we approve the bills?
Nope, just a review.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Hearing of individuals.
Okay, I have Will Cahill from Lake ESD OSBA Rural Schools Caucus.
I can talk.
You can talk.
Oh,
Please.
Please.
Oh, thank you for having me here tonight. As she said, I'm on the Lake County ESD board. Kind of got on it. Decided, you know, maybe about time one of us got out and saw you guys. So this is my last district visit. So anyway, it's a pleasure to see you and meet you and everything. And we meet monthly with the ESD board and got 7 really good members on there. I think do the job and do it pretty well. Support our superintendent here. My background is I was an ag teacher for 13 years, and I was vice principal, and eventually superintendent in District 7. So I had that to fall back on a little bit in doing this job and everything. Secondly, the main reason I'm here tonight is to tell you about the 2 organizations I'm in. First of all, I'm in the OASD, Oregon Association of Educational School Districts. And recently, Oregon School Boards Association developed and adopted a rural caucus. And the president of the rural caucus has a seat on the Oregon School Boards Association board. So both of them, in my world, what I've been dealing with so far with both these organizations is the legislative aspect in supporting rural school districts and rural regions. And the rural caucus just started, it's just getting off the ground. It started on June 1st. And OASD has been around for some time. And right now I'm going to talk about it first. You know, primarily its duty is legislation and also providing support to the ESDs. Currently right now, And this time of the year, with the legislative session going on, we meet once a week. And Lori Sattenspiel, she's been to some of those meetings in Paisley. I'm sure you remember her. She is our legislative liaison, and she does a very good job of what she does. She knows all those politicians, and she gets around, she really studies those bills, and she offers some very excellent advice to us as far as what we want to do on them. If it gets to the point where it's getting hot and heavy and something politically is going to happen that's going to be a hindrance to rural school boards or rural school districts, she's on the phone calling us and say, okay, we haven't had this happen yet, but it may someday. Start ringing legislators' phones off the hook and tell them this is going to be detrimental to your district. And we haven't gotten that far yet because she being on the inside of everything, she does a pretty good job of relaying her message to them as far as what our feelings are. So that, I've been very proud on that for 3 years. And if there's anything of any concern that, the districts in this county need to hear, I'm the man who'll get that out to you one way or another. The second thing is the Rural Caucus. And we meet once a month. And our goal is also to interfuse with the OASD and also have a network of legislators that we can, try to connect with and everything else to take care of the cause as, rural school districts. Right now, they are doing a thing politically, and that's where I need your help. Right now, they are doing a membership. You don't have to have a secret password. You don't have to pay dues or anything like that. And it's to attract board members and board members only. Administrators, I can do it. You can.
Okay.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever saw. But anyway, tomorrow, if Janet doesn't mind, can I have you send a link out to all of them tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. They have a link so you can join as a member. And the idea of it is there's strength in numbers. If the politicians see that this rural caucus has a huge membership, to politicians and everything, that means something. So this link that I'm going to have Janet send to you, it's a very short 5 or 6 question thing. It's a fill in the blank thing. And then it gives you the opportunity to send your membership straight to the rural caucus. So that will come out to you tomorrow. And I encourage you to get on there and join as soon as you can. And the membership in the rural caucus, I think, is about something like 100 members in all the rural areas. And that's the other thing too. There are the rural areas, our areas and everything. I'm in Region 4, which covers Klamath, Lake, and Harney. And kind of a broad space. I'd like to get over to Harney too and have the same talk with board members over there, but I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to manage that just yet. But I think it's a good thing. I'm very optimistic about it. The members we have, the board members we have are great people. The president, she's from Condon. And most of these areas also, I forgot to tell you, it's like 20,000 or less in order to be in the rural caucus. That's it. You can't go over 20,000 population wise. So anyway. So that's it, folks. Pretty short and sweet. I'll sure entertain some questions if you have any. Guess I'm a good explainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for the coming up.
Okay, good to be here.
Thank you, Will.
All right, so anybody else on the audience?
It,
Okay. How about we'll go to new business and Mr. Louie.
So once again, I'm here to give you an update on as we proceed through the integrated programs for this next biennium. We just had our second meeting today for our needs assessment team, which means evaluating our outcomes and strategies and our budgeted activities that will that apply to your SIA and HSS and early lit dollars that you guys receive from the states. What our goal was to review it kind of one more time, give input and get input from the needs assessment committee in terms of clarifying things and defining some stuff for them, and just kind of overarching premise of how the dollars are spent in your district and why they are spent the way that they are. Okay, the state requires to provide outcomes and strategies, and then our activities match up with those outcomes and strategies to the benefit of your student body. Not many changes made. A lot of your guys' budget and things like that surrounds FTE that support your programs currently in place already. And so not a lot of wiggle room with your guys' budget when it comes to adjusting a whole lot of things without having to adjust FTE around and things like that, right? Your ag position, behavior specialist, things like that that are full FTEs use up a substantial part of your grant dollars that you receive from the state. So it was just kind of an overarching premise that we went through and looked at everything. We did talk about the early lit dollars and some of the high restrictions that the state's been putting on those dollars, and why we have budgeted the way we have, which is surrounding a lot of professional development, curriculum, and things like that, which are high cost items for North Lake due to its rural remoteness and stuff like that. And so that's how I've been using your early lit dollars. Not knowing whether or not those dollars are going to continue and what restrictions are put on them. We didn't put a lot of FTE and things like that underneath them because the ability to pull those dollars is a lot more flexible since it's by legislative mandate versus voter mandate, like the other two funding streams. Moving forward, we just kind of completed our needs assessment. I'm going to give an updated list of outcome strategies and start working with Monica to some extent on starting to put together a budget and seeing where items are going to lie and how much wiggle room we have with the budget moving into the next biennium. We don't have updated numbers for the new biennium. We'll be using the 24-25 numbers as a basis to go off of, with the idea and premise being that those numbers should rise. And so it should allow more room as we move later into the process, depending on when they pass the budget. The next piece would be that March 1, the application window opens for integrated programs, which will loop in the early lit dollars into it this next year. I'll be working with Gail and stuff to kind of review the narrative questions and stuff like that as we move into March. And as we also review the outcome strategies, start doing tiered planning and some of that documentation moving forward, as well as also documenting community engagements, things like that, some of the surveys, some of the parents' nights that you guys do that act as parent engagement to get feedback on the school district and how things are going. So that's kind of the update I have for you. Oh, I want to thank you guys also for the January board meeting where you approved the equity committee. I'm waiting for one more district in terms of getting their minutes together. I needed some draft minutes from you guys showing that you approved and stuff. And so I have 4 out of the 5 districts already sent me their minutes. I'm just waiting on one more, and then I'll be able to send that up to OD. And so hopefully in the next month or so, I'll have some good news about the equity committee that has to be established by September. So just an added little extra to it. So I appreciate the support on that last month.
Thanks for the help.
Yeah,
Appreciate
not a
it.
problem. Anything else? Any questions for me about the integrated guidance and stuff like that? So far, nothing that's happening at the federal level I see affecting your guys' current grant dollars that you're receiving. Perkins dollars, things like that are set in stone through Congress. So it would take an act of Congress to change some of those items in terms of those grant dollars. So all of your guys' funding streams and stuff like that are fairly stable, other than the early lit dollars coming from the governor and the legislature.
Good to know.
So any other questions? I'd be happy to take them now if you have them. You guys will see me again before this year's over anyway, some more updates, so.
But I do think this is the last update before we actually get. budget.
Before the application, yep.
Yeah.
The next one will probably be an application for you guys to essentially review and have to give the final approval on the application to go forward. So you guys always we have to present the application to the board for approval before we make our last goal setting. We have to do some goal setting and it has to get approved.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mark.
All right, thank you, Mark. We'll go to your compadre, Mr. Stratton.
Well, thank you. I'm here to ask for support for the local service plan that was presented to our ESD budget committee. Chair Duffy was there. Berman, Mr. Meacham was there. And we went over our service plan. And the service plan for us in Lake County is kind of like a vanilla piece, not very exciting. And what I see for the individual school districts is when I come in August or September with the MOU that has it broken down exactly what supports or services I'm giving to you guys. This year, I feel like it's even a little bit more vanilla because there's some unknowns. Pretty sure they're cutting one of my programs financially, which is a full FTE of funding. They've also said that they're going to take away some technical assistant dollars, which is kind of like what Mark and I do when we come here and help your school out, set side by side, helping with programs. And then the next piece is the early literacy grant that is out there, but the ESDs don't have any true part in it, even though we support with professional development through Amy Fortune and the grant writing through Mark. The ESDs, it's an unfunded mandate. They didn't ask us to support the school districts in it. And I think it's kind of backwards because especially in these rural areas, ESDs do a lot of that support. And so rumor is the governor's going to give the ESDs a bunch of money to help you with that. But that means I have to come up with a person for that. And in Lake County, when you come up for a specialty person, they're just not knocking on my door. And usually you rob Peter to pay Paul when you start taking specialties out. So with that being said, I don't know where to be with my service plan. So I pretty much put the same one together. I'm gonna read this first page. I didn't have it in our meeting when it was approved, but the ESD has an outgoing commitment to the goal of providing the best possible education service to the component districts of Lake County. We strive to support all students of Lake County, particularly those with special needs. We all face three large hurdles: funding, staffing, and an economic downturn that present unique challenges to our remote and rural districts. With these hurdles in mind, this local service plan is written in a broad language. With the collaboration of the ESD staff and component district superintendents during the spring and summer, more detailed service allocation will be finalized through the MOU process, which then will be presented to each district no later than the September school board meetings. I feel that working together, oh my God, I feel twice. I feel that we can maximize our resources and meet our goals of providing the best educational experience for all Lake County students. Highlights in this plan compared to last year, we're doing what's called Medicaid administrative claiming. And recently, when the organizations and the lobbyists went to ODE and the governor said, give schools more money, they said, well, schools are leaving money on the table, so why should we give them more? And that was a Medicaid administrative claiming, which they call MAC claiming, and then the Medicare claiming. And the Medicare piece is hard because we only have a few people that can do that, so we're not going to tackle that right away. But we are doing the Medicaid administrative claiming, hoping to bring more money into the ESD and the school districts that can turn around and go into our mental health and nursing services. And we've started that at the ESD. Speech language paraprofessionals are providing 2 people to help with our virtual speech and language programs, which North Lake has been using virtual since I've been on, probably for a while. I know you guys are virtual. And we help pay for the para that goes and gets the student out of the classroom, walks them to the speech session, make sure everything goes well, and then walks the student back to the classroom and then does any of those communications between the speech path and the classroom teacher. And then this doesn't affect you all, but I've increased the itinerant special education teacher to District 7. And then I talk about the 2 pieces that I'm worried about. The school safety prevention specialist grant, which is being reduced. I haven't had official word from the ODE on this, but they say in closed doors and meetings, we're not funding this grant from 19 1.0 FTEs, which was 1 per ESD, to approximately 9 to 11 1.0 FTEs to a regional plan. The school safety prevention specialist programs are based around 3 things: school threats, bullying, and suicide. And I'm kind of concerned here because if if you talk to anybody and you ask them what are some of your biggest concerns about schools, those three would be at their top 5. Yeah, school safety, the bullying, and suicide prevention, postvention. So I'm trying to save that program. I volunteered to speak at Salem. I don't know how well that'll go because I'm not the best speaker, especially in front of a bunch of people in Salem, but they'll hear my thoughts and we'll go from there if they take me up. And then the next one, like I talked about, was the early literacy school success grant. Don't know how it's going to come to me or if it is. And then to turn around and find someone, like we might not know until May, and then go find someone to fill that position. More than likely, it's going to be a teacher, so that I'm still from a school district, a qualified teacher, to do a 2-year pet project. I think early literacy is important, but it's funded as a pet project. We're already accountable for literacy in our schools. Why are we getting on the soapbox? Sorry, but with that being said, my goal is to continue communications with Ms. Bierman and her staff. Mark and I come up once a month, and then I do a monthly just superintendent meeting. As this all comes together, what am I funded at? And then how can I support you guys moving forward? So I guess any questions, and then come action items. If there isn't any questions, I'd love that you would support this plan.
Is there anything else in this plan, since you're not going through it page by page, is there anything else that you think looks wildly different? Because there really wasn't too many.
There's nothing, especially with you guys, there's nothing different.
Yeah.
The only thing would be is Mrs. Cahill and that
Yeah.
program, because it's funded out of that school support. We've already talked about that, and I'll get you some numbers in the next week.
Mhm.
But other than that, the services I see coming to you guys next year are the exact same that you're getting this year.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that school safety prevention specialist, and then the curriculum instruction piece, and how do we make that work to support you, but the rest of the services should be pretty darn the same. You know?
Well, the safety prevention specialist piece concerns me too, because they require us to have all that. So if
Yes.
you can't provide it, then that means we'll have to figure out a way to support that.
We'll have the regional. We'll probably be back with
High Desert,
Mal here
not here,
on this one, and it's his name just escaped me.
Kevin.
Kevin, thank you. He'll probably be our regional guy again, is my guess. I wish they would have done something different, but
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot of miles for to cover.
yeah.
He's very good at it.
He's
He
good.
knows his stuff, but it is a long way for him.
And so then when he puts something on, it's in Ontario, or it has an Ontario base to it.
Right.
And so you have the Mount Here County, Harney County, and us. Because I think Grant went with Wallala,
Oh, did they?
so that would be the region.
Yeah.
And Mount Here is what, 23 school districts?
Oh, it's big.
It's big.
Mhm. Yes,
So
it
it's-
is.
But fortunately, I worked with Kevin my first year because we're in a regional model. So I already have that
Mhm.
going for us. So hopefully he's still around, and that's the person we get.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna head to Paisley because I gotta do the same thing tonight in Paisley.
Perfect.
You don't need them to vote on this? or
They
anything?
do, but I don't know if they want to wait till an action item or whatever.
What's you guys' preference?
At this point, it's under new business. We can make it an action item. If we have a motion.
Just move to approve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the Lake County ESD service plan for the, is it 25, 26?
Yes, sir.
school year?
Yes.
Second. Okay, then move to approve the county ESD service plan for 25-26 school year. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lane.
And then one other thing. Budget board member,
Oh,
when you can. It doesn't have to be in this meeting, but just hopefully by,
we talked about
It's
that.
slated to happen at.
Oh, it's-
Under unfinished.
oh, it's in this meeting?
Yes, okay. That's right, it is on there. I thought, where
Okay.
did I see that? Yes.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you all.
we're on it. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lane.
Good luck to your sports teams headed into the districts. Finish the season.
Excuse me. All right, 23-24 audit report, Monica.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I gave you a copy of a summarized report last meeting. Did anybody have any questions on it? We didn't have any findings. Everything was good.
That's mostly what I looked for, to see if there were problems or areas for improvement. Thing like that. Is there anything you feel we need to know about, or did everything look good to you too?
Nope, everything was good, and it was, very similar to what you guys had budgeted, so. Everything was good. I didn't even have any questions from the auditors.
Oh, wow. Okay. That hardly ever happens.
I know.
Perfect, okay. Alrighty, so do these guys need to approve this or just look at it? Questions?
I honestly don't know. I was just told I was supposed to present it at the
Okay.
board meeting, so,
Yeah. Just report, okay. Janet says it's just report, so
okay, good.
I think we're good, yes. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Not that I've found yet.
Yeah, not that we've come up with yet, so. We'll keep this handy, Monica. We might be asking you some stuff later.
Okay, yeah, just let me know. Remember, I'm in Salem and I don't have access to Visions right now to look stuff up for you, so may have to get back to you if you have questions, so.
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you. Enjoy your conference.
All right. We'll move on to the 25-26 budget calendar approval.
Okay, Janet sent you guys this last time and we were ahead of ourselves. Couldn't be approved until this meeting, so that's what we need you to do. And it follows the exact format of what we've done before, because that's kind of when we need to do it, if that's when we're gonna do our budget.
Yeah, I move that we adopt the budget calendar as presented for the 25-26 school year. It's the same as.
It doesn't change much.
Well, I'll second it then. Been moved and seconded to adopt the budget calendar for the 25-26 school year. Any other questions? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Then we go on to 26 school calendar.
Right. We have two drafts for you. If you, they're almost identical. You'll see draft A, they're listed at the bottom, draft A, draft B. They are exactly the same except for, see if I can find it too. Draft,
One of the Fridays.
February.
yeah, it's just one of the Fridays. February 20th on draft A is a teacher workday. On draft B, it's a student day. And March 6th on draft A is a day off, a non-school day. And on the draft B, it's a school or PD day. So kind of the question for teachers was, do they want to have 2 Fridays in in 3 Fridays in a row, or 3 Fridays, do they want 2 Fridays out of those 3 to attend school? February 20th and March 6th, the other calendar spread them out just a little bit because the school day, if you look at draft day, that Friday was put clear back to May 29th. So it kind of spread them out a little bit more, was really the only difference. We polled the teachers. I only got back 7 responses and 6 were in favor of A and only 1 was in favor of B. So it was, even though there were only 7 responses, it was pretty unanimously, or not unanimous, but very heavily weighted in favor of A. But you guys make the calendar and adopt the calendar, so it's entirely up to you.
I move we adopt A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the version A of the 25-26 school calendar. Any further discussion? Questions? All those in favor?
Thank you so much.
Can I slide up and get my report
Oh,
early so I can go
certainly.
drink my juice?
Oh, certainly, yes.
All right, so we're gonna go to superintendent's report, and it sounds like we're gonna go to Mr. Cameron.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So just kind of looking, attendance numbers are about the same as what they've been. Our middle school, high school for average daily attendance, not regular attenders, was about 88%. And then our elementary is down a little bit from last year. We're at 85. On January 24th, we had our K-6 RTI day, working on setting up more specific goals for our interventions, streamlining the programs we're using on those interventions, came up with some agreements, and we're just going to keep working on that to make sure that we are doing that. FFA district convention went well. Ms. McAuliffe and the students are now preparing for the regional convention. As we talked about earlier in their earlier meeting, she got a load of plants in preparation for hanging basket sales in the spring. A lot of our elementary staff and Ms. Scarborough Yeomans are getting prepared for the Eastern Oregon RENS Math Science Challenge. To accomplish that, we received about $700 in vernier temperature probes. They need to complete the challenge, and then we get to keep all those materials. So those will be introduced into our STEM programs later on as well. The meat lab's been busy processing animals donated by the state police and ODF&W. Apparently during the weather, there was a good amount of antelope in the road. And a semi met them. And so they brought a bunch of that in. Barry and Jubal have been doing an amazing job keeping up with our weather conditions, bringing students to school safely, especially for their first year, kind of figuring it out on the fly and get some crazy stuff. Last week, we ordered a new set of shot clocks from Nevco. About a week and a half is what they're talking about for their turnaround time. And talking with Cascade Athletics, it sounds like multiple schools are having issues with those Bison clocks that we got. So we're not the only ones. It just wasn't a good company apparently, and their customer service is not stellar. So they tell everybody that, oh, we've never had that problem.
So does that give you 2 options?
Yeah, so it'll be 2 separate. They're not necessarily compatible with each other, but we'll probably try to swap the Bisons out now and use use the Nevcos as our standard.
But you'll have a backup.
Have a backup if we can get those to, and hopefully we won't have nearly as many issues. This one's more.
Well, the Nevcos integrate with our scoreboard, right? So you don't
Correct.
have to have a
Yeah.
separate person to run.
Well, no, you still need a separate person. Even if it's all dialed in, it'll still need a separate, but they will integrate. So if we upgrade later down the road, it'll all be compatible with our board and everything. March 6th, looking at taking the middle schoolers again to another career connected field trip. This time they'll go to the COC Bend campus and for a tour, and then they're gonna do a 3-station career cluster where they'll rotate through those 3 stations. I believe it was medical, computer science, and I can't remember what the other one off the top of my head were, but they'll rotate through those with professionals from those career fields, talking to them, some hands-on things, so that should be a pretty good deal for those guys. And then March 7th, we will again host the SATs here. It won't be during the school day, it's on a Friday. Students will need to register and pay for this round of testing if they want to take it again, or if they're junior wanting to take it early. So that's about all I've got. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Yeah. I think I'm relegated to the spare bedroom.
Okay,
I don't say any worse if they're on recording.
yeah.
Oh,
Should I keep this out here? Okay, so that takes us to superintendent's report going, we'll start back at the top. Enrollment registration report that Janet attached for you. And we're down a couple of kids. Well, yeah. We're at 223 now. You know, I like to keep it at about 225, but 223 is our average. But February we dropped like 5 kids. So
5 kids on the high school and one of them graduated early.
yes,
And so it's not-
yes. So that's what that is. We're still at, I mean, 223 is okay, decent average, but 216 is getting kind of low in terms of just any time, you know, to look at your enrollment. That's a little bit lower than I would like. So anyway, okay, we look at, oh, Monica, financial report. Did you want to say anything about that? That's next here.
Yes, I did. If you guys notice the good news I gave you last month, I took away again. We don't know for sure yet, but supposedly and probably, so and I don't remember exactly what it's called, but the small school, what was it called, Gail? Small school, something.
Yeah,
It's where we get our forest funds from, our forest fee funds from.
yes, and I just read about that today, but since you asked me, I can't repeat it.
So
Go ahead.
Congress didn't vote on it. They let it sit, whatever, tabled it. I don't know what they did to it, but they did not vote on it. And so those funds, it sounds like, are not going to come to us this year. It'll go back from what Ann said. She's the lady that is at Lakeview School District that used to be at the county assessor's office. She said it will revert back to the 1908 law, which will give us part of the revenue from the forest for the land that we have in our county. And 75% of that will go to the road department and 25% will go to the school. So she thought we would probably get around $10,000. And we had budgeted for 118,000. So it's gonna, drop us about 100 grand. So she thought, Congress can always pick it back up later when they can reconvene. And this is federal. But we don't know for sure. So all we know is that they didn't vote on it. And so it got tabled. And then the other one is we found out Sarah noticed that we didn't get any funds in September for sales. You know how every September they have an auction for the parcels of land where people don't pay their taxes for however many years, 4 or 5 years. She called and she asked them, well, why were there no sales? And I guess there's some state of Oregon lawsuit that's going on. And so they have suspended sales of these plots of land that people didn't pay their taxes on until I think 2027 or maybe even after that. So So there's another 26 grand that we aren't gonna get, so.
I see why you didn't come in person.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I know.
I wish I would have known this last month.
You just have nothing but good
You'll be
news.
down 135 grand and I'm gonna say 200 miles away.
Yeah, man. Was there anything positive, Monica, or not?
Well, I mean, I just took us back to where we were. It wasn't like I dropped it another 130 grand, so. Because I
Yeah,
thought we were gonna be about, 115,000 more to the good, but it turns out.
Yeah.
Not so much, so.
we were hoping so. Well, we don't know how it's gonna come out, but anytime stuff gets buried in court or a lawsuit, it's usually not a,
No.
yeah.
Well, and then they said on the forest fees, if they do get back to it and they end up voting on it, it might not be till next year, but we might still get the funds for this year, even though, it might not be in this fiscal year.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for her?
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Appreciate it. Okay, does that take us to Jubal? Or no, Barry, sorry. Barry?
I'm
you do-
boring today. I don't have a lot. We ordered the track runways a couple of weeks ago, so according to them, it's roughly 3 weeks out. I would probably guess it's a little more than that, but should be here by our first track. Assuming we don't have snow all over it. Besides that, nothing with snow. That's about all I've done the last one.
Yeah, well, and I just wanted tell you thank you too, Barry, for all the hours that you put in
No problem.
scooping all that snow and being on call. And, those days that we call the delay or call school off, we're all up at, all of us, Jubal, the whole team, Janet, Tracy, Jubal, me, Jim, Cameron, Barry, Desi, we're all up talking on the phone at about 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to figure out what we're doing. I make a 3 o'clock run. I think you do too. Try to drive around the roads and see what's going on. Jubal too, and checking it out because we have to have a decision made by 5 a.m. That's the latest because the robocall has to go out before people start heading for the bus stop. So it all has to happen pretty early. And I think this system worked really well, but that left Barry kind of, when we didn't know that one day, he was still up here scooping snow and then we didn't have school. So felt really bad on that day. but
I got ahead of it that day.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked in the end. You did get ahead of it, but yeah, just appreciate your help on that because now everything looks really good. So you got it off, but anyway.
Still think we're okay to hold off on purchasing a snowplow?
Might as well. It'll be it'll be next year's budget for sure though.
Yeah, we've already had that conversation. That's the first thing was, got it.
The snow stuff. That's a good point. Right now, we'll look at do anything.
We'll come back for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, right. No, we'll get a nice one and you won't get to use it. but
That's right. We'll
Yeah.
stay new for a while. That's okay.
Yeah, no, that was the first topic of conversation, wasn't it, Barry? Is how that we-
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but anyway, so no, thank you. And is there anything else you want to share or are you?
That's about it. Everything else kind of stayed the same.
Okay.
Nothing new or old or exciting has happened.
Any luck with the tank inspection?
That's the only company that Crystal, I want to say is Crystal Clean or Crystal Clear. They're the only company that's really showed interest and they want us to let them know 2 months before we want to have it done. And then they dispatch to another company called Patriot and they'll come out and look at our area and kind of check it out and see if they even want to do it. So it's sketchy. And there's several companies that seem very interested until you tell them our tanks are inside. And that's when they all seem to kind of back out or lose interest. I don't know why. But just kind of looking at that whole system, our water samples have always been good, so I feel pretty confident about the actual cleanliness of the tanks. But as far as just our delivery system, we've got the new booster pumps that are sitting there. But I think I'm pretty concerned about the actual controls that signal to send the water throughout the building. They seem pretty old and dated. To me, I think that would probably be maybe a little higher on my priority list now after seeing it, is just trying to update that whole water delivery system. Something silly happened during. I think they're still mercury switches, and they're all, I kind of talked to Dwayne a little bit about it. At one point, it was pretty fancy and high tech, but now it seems like we have pretty large gauges that control water level or show you water level and pressure, and they're not quite working right, but they're working. But they were over 3,000 to replace. And I couldn't figure out if it was the size of the gauge, the type of gauge. But Dwayne said, well, I think the smaller ones are cheaper. But then again, you know, if we're gonna spend that much money on 2 gauges, why not try to figure out a different system to see what that would cost us as far as delivery? 'Cause I know they make more intricate systems for that rather than what we have.
Well, thank you for checking into that and kind of being on top of that. Okay,
For presenting a budget next year, does he follow the same budgetary process? Follow up, just like maintenance wise, does it all go in starting in March, basically?
we still have to have it all put together. And he and I've talked about that too, and because when things like that happen, or when things happen, that changes your priority list, what you need to have, you know that. And so he puts in what he needs, what he anticipates he's going to need, but then we also have a little bit set aside in our capital improvements fund for anything that might fit that need. So we have a little bit of emergency money there in case anything big happens. So he, in that list that you made, is going to help you a lot in terms of knowing what you need to have now, next year,
Sure.
and how much money you're looking at. So some of those big ticket items, even though you're reluctant to spend the money, sometimes doesn't mean you can wait. You need to do that. And deferred maintenance is a big issue. That's why we have the list. We're trying to get on top of that. So we are spending money as we go along, maintaining what we have, not getting into big crisis situations, but knowing at the same time we need a little set aside in case something big does happen. So, yeah. Okay, thank you, Barry.
You're welcome.
Jubal, on to you. Transportation.
For monthly miles, we're sitting pretty close to what is an average for a typical month of travel. That's about right. I don't have anything really to update. Bus 22 from last month, we were waiting on a part to get it back in operation, and we got that part, and it's been working great ever since. So that was the correct part to be thrown apart. And I think that's been the issue with that bus for the last few years, that no one has really replaced just that part and got it back in order to where it doesn't beep at you.
Cool.
So that part's nice about it. But yeah, everything else seems to be working well. Our 2 newest buses, 1 and 2, most recently have shown that they do not like our cold temperature. Once it hits right at 4 degrees is when I notice it. If it gets 4 degrees or colder, our dashes on the 2 newest buses do not like the cold. And so they will kind of reset themselves and configure themselves to having options that we don't have on our buses. And I have to go in and put those in to reset them and unlock them. But I can't get it to save until the dash actually warms up. So I talked with our warranty rep with Western Bus Sales, if that was a common issue, and apparently it is. So he's ordering up 2 new dashes to be thrown in both school buses, and we'll see if that fixes, because they haven't pinpointed on what the problem is, but they're guessing that it's just a bad batch of something in the circuitry. And so we're going to try and get 2 new ones under warranty, and we'll try that. In the meantime, both of those buses are parked inside the bus barn to stay warm overnight so that they can run on the route during the day.
Sounds good. All right. And thank you too for all your work during the snow day stuff. He had his people on standby. Go on time, go late, not go at all, because that messes with their schedule too, I know. So
And that toe strap does work really well when the tires freeze to the ground.
Yeah.
You can't break it loose. Just needs a little jolt.
Yep. Good, so, okay. All right, thank you. Let's see, Mr. Whistle.
Okay, semester grades for high school sports teams, I have to report to OSAA. Girls basketball is at 375, boys basketball is 365, and wrestling is at 335. So pretty good, over 3.0. The next major things that are going on is games and officials and snow out, snow, weather issues. Tomorrow we have RVAA and we changed that time earlier. I got them to be able to play at 4:30 and 6 PM. So we're gonna be able to do that RVAA. Wednesday is a makeup game with Central Christian, 5 and 6:30. The game with Cross Point should be Friday. It was scheduled. He sent me some today, the officials saying it was Thursday, because 1As were not to have games on Friday. They don't have enough officials. But I've done some favors for him, so he worked a deal, and he thinks we're gonna get to have the game on Friday. So that's my goal, and I'll let you know tomorrow morning about that. The other thing too is district wrestling will be in Oak Ridge the next weekend. And the league championships will be next week at Central Christian, which it was supposed to be held at Trinity, but Trinity has games there, so we're doing it at Central Christian. And they're gonna have to bring bleachers in, and they said they were bringing bleachers in. I don't know where and the heck they're going, but they're gonna be putting them there. So that's where that tournament's gonna be. State stuff, February 25th to March 1st is state wrestling in Portland. And wrestling will start, basketball will start the 25th. And first rounds are at high seed. And there's a top 32 teams get in. And so right now, if we did not have a tournament, both of our teams would get in. And currently, the boys are ranked 32nd and the girls are ranked 7th. And that's where that's going. And then the state at Baker's High School, 5th through the 8th, and for the girls, and then 6th through the 8th for the boys. And then track season is just right around the corner, and that's March 3rd, we start track. And then the last two things I wanted to share with you is we're gonna do a lockdown Thursday, the 20th at 10 AM. I did one in the fall, we'll do one now in the winter, and we'll do one more in the spring. And then a fire drill will be the 27th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is what I have for right now.
Not technically a school thing, but our club volleyball, the 14s team, didn't drop a single set at the tournament last Saturday in Prineville, and they won the whole thing without losing all day.
Good job.
I saw that on Facebook. That was quite something. That was
Beat
really
Prineville, Redmond, and Ben schools, and didn't lose a single set.
good. That was quite neat.
And one other thing, the middle school wrestling's having their districts tomorrow, or start later this week. So just as long as the weather cooperates.
Did you say our district tournaments at Central Christian, and they don't have bleachers
They're bringing them in.
for the district tournament?
They've got what, like
There's only like 3 or 4.
5 rows maybe. Yeah.
Do they have
That'd be a
room to
fun-
bring in bleachers?
There's a little bit of room on the other side, but I guess they'll probably put some down the middle.
Oh.
Split it. Get a couple of masks.
And you know, like, I don't know if I told you guys at the last board meeting, that 1A wrestling tournament, you know, if Scott got sick, a lot of people got sick from that. It just wasn't clean. And you were talking, we were talking about, just wasn't clean at that 1A tournament.
Oh, it was held at a middle school even.
Yeah, middle school too. and it
Tight
just
space.
wasn't Clean.
A lot of people.
And they didn't clean the mats between and everything.
Who sets, like, how do we decide where the district turn, like, if you got a gym that doesn't have capacity for a district tournament, why is it being held?
Well, like, it depends on who wants to stand up and do it. That's who it comes down to. This 1A thing, I guess it's been going on for years. They're trying to get it separated so they only have their own 1A classification instead of doing 1A and 2A. They just haven't got the numbers.
On the basketball one though, why is it, if Central Christian doesn't have room, why is it?
Because that's where some people decided. We didn't even know about it until last week. And I love those ADs, but you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right, Jim, thank you.
You bet.
All right, so we're gonna move down to personnel and human resources. Oh, let's see, nothing under classified, confidential, certified. Just want to let you know that a while back, because we're starting to post for positions, and we've talked about this a couple of times, so this is kind of an update. On we did post for the ag position, the second ag position, quite a while ago. We had some meetings with the Ag Advisory Committee. They wanted us to do that. We did. We had one applicant, one unqualified applicant apply. So we're going to repost in mid-March as per their request. They're looking for a licensed teacher. That's what they want. So that's what we're going to repost that as. For that's just, and like I said, it's just an update. For administration, I told you guys, I sent you Jen has a paper there that's called contract analysis for the superintendent contract. This is the report that I got back from the team of Randy Schild and Rob Saxton from RS2 Consulting. And I don't know if you had much of a chance to look at that, but this is just for your information only. There's no action required to be taken on this. This was just, I said I was going to send that in. We're going to compare it to other people, and they did. They chose, I think, 10 districts close to our size. You can see that in the chart there. That was kind of the comparison group. They looked at everything from salary to PERS, to travel allowance, district paid TSA, tech stipend, other compensation of any type, total compensation with vacation. It gave you the lowest, the highest, and the average on the bottom row. And it told you your person group. And then the black line underneath there is a comparing the district, just North Lake, and what the salary is. That's currently my salary underneath there, so you can kind of compare it up above. And then there are just some notes down below about salary, travel, TSA, other, total compensation, and no cause termination. Those are some things that they noticed in our superintendent contract compared to others. I just wanted you guys to have that. I'm sure we'll probably talk about it again at some point, but I wanted you to have that just for your reference, so you can kind of see how we stack up against other districts relatively close to our size. Okay. And anybody have any questions just right off the bat about that as you look at it?
TSA.
Tax sheltered annuity.
And then what would the travel allowance be used for?
That would be, there were two different things. One is if you live in a district where you have to travel among schools in your district, which we don't, that would be one thing. I'm going from this school to that school to this school. We don't, that doesn't apply to us. It does to some our size, but not us. And then the other one was like to conferences and stuff. We already do that with anybody that goes to a conference. So neither one really applied to us in that situation as far as travel compensation. The tech stipend was if they, like cell phones, whether or not you have to have internet at your house, you're required to have internet so you can do work at home or be available at home, things like that. Anything in that nature would come in the tech stipend. Other compensation, I don't really know what any other compensation there was. That was $3,500. And then just flat out salary in the first column. And there's a note there somewhere that says,
Says other was for retention, must be like a retention bonus or some sort.
oh, that's right. They do have, some of them did have retention bonuses offered. That's what it was. If you see, yeah, retention. The North Lake ranks 7th in total PERS adjusted compensation, and is probably approximately $2,000 below the average of this group. 6 TSA, 6 of the 10 districts in this comparison group provide a district paid TSA averaging $5,083. North Lake does not provide one. Travel, only 2 districts in this comparison provided travel allowance. North Lake does not. Salary, we rank out of that group of 10, we're 6 compared to others against in that group, similar sized Oregon districts in Oregon. Okay, and then the no cause termination, the line at the bottom, forgive me for kind of skipping all over here. Termination terms in the contract of this comparison, 3 have no language, 3 gives 12 months, 2 have no protection, 1 has 6 months. We're the 6-month one, and the balance of the contract. So they're all over the place. And we'll probably be talking about that a little bit later because I have some more information about that I think we need to consider when you're looking at that contract as whole. Because there are some laws now around that you are required to do some things. And it's really supposed to be a year is what they're recommending. And most contracts have a year, no cause termination. But we can talk about that later, just telling you. But that's what they gave us. So location really didn't have anything to do with it. They just strictly went on student population for the comparison group. So anyway, that's for you to have. Also, we are going to, at the last meeting, we talked about the vice principal AD posting. We had worked it up a couple of ways. You guys talked about that. Janet did that. And do they have those linked there, Janet? She gave them to you last week, I know.
It's in last month's.
Okay. And what we are going to do, since it's now February and we want to make sure you guys are okay and on board with us going ahead and posting that, we did create them a little bit differently. One was like an AD, special programs director, and the other one was VP AD, more similar to what Jim does. So we're going to go ahead and post those. Didn't we have it ready to kick out tomorrow, Janet? Is that what you told me on that one? Whenever we want.
They're loaded. They're just sitting there waiting.
Wait for us to hit the button. Yeah, okay. So if you guys are okay with that, that's what we're gonna do. We thought we'd cast a net, see what we find. We might find somebody, we might not.
We post, like Preston said, just because we post everything we have to hire.
Exactly.
If we don't find a candidate that we're excited about.
Yep. And the reason why I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of a head start is because in March is when people find out whether or not they're rehired or not. And if they think they're not going to be, or if they're just not happy where they are and they're looking somewhere else, we might catch one of those people. So anyway, we're going to do that as long as that's okay with you guys. Just, we've been talking about it all along and I want to make sure we're all on the same page before we did that. Anybody have any questions, comments? Y'all okay with that?
All right, there's one posting that I like.
I'm good with posting and see what we get. And if we don't find I'm not just, I don't want to just take a warm body, but if we find somebody that we'd actually be excited about, we've got options.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we'll post it, keep you posted, let you know what we find.
Do you guys want me to post both the VP special programs or and the VP?
I do, because I'm gonna see what we're gonna get.
I could post both.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty, we'll do that. Okay, then we go down to employee negotiations update. Just want to say that we have another meeting scheduled for Wednesday with the certified group. We have completed the discussions with the support staff group. We just have to finalize our the status of that at our meeting on Wednesday, but that should be all wrapped up. And we have some language that we're working on that the certified staff requested to put in their collective bargaining agreement. We've had a little bit of back and forth about that, so we'll continue that conversation on Wednesday. That's kind of where we are with that, but that's it. Everything else is done with it because we didn't have to do salary. They also did agree to go to just 2 years of negotiations so that then the salary year will catch up with them. And then they'll be ready to negotiate for everything in 2 more years. So that all worked out, I think, for the better because it'll be streamline the process quite a bit next time. The superintendent evaluation tool, number 2. I know that you guys got this all spiffed up in what you consider to be your final copy, but that's up to you. At least I got an updated copy. And what really needs to happen here is if this is the one you guys want, this, and you want to adopt it into your, as part of your superintendent evaluation tool, you need to replace the current CBG AR with this one, because right now that old form is attached to the evaluation policy as the AR. You would want this to be your AR to replace that. So you could go ahead, if you're happy with this one, you could go ahead and do that tonight. That would just be reading number 1 on this AR for this policy only. Okay, and then we'd have to do it one more time, which would be in March. And then it would be finally adopted 2 times. So it'll still be done in time for you to use it if that's what you want to do. Okay. Yes, this will be a first reading. March would be a second. If you're happy with it, this is the one you want.
That's kind of what we decided, right? Need a motion to accept this as a first reading.
Yes.
Please.
I move that we use the February 10th, 2025 meeting as a first reading on the superintendent evaluation tool review.
Second. Okay, been moved and seconded to have a first reading approval on superintendent evaluation tool, which would be listed as CBG-AR. Any further discussion or?
The only thing I'd bring up is I did put the strategic goals. I don't know. Ready for that, or which case decided when I was gone, but I just went ahead and put them in there on page 3, just so that we had a placeholder for that. So whether I use those or not, I guess we could just not fill that in. Not ready.
We're ready for them next year, even if we're not ready for them this year. We don't have to amend it.
Do you guys, well, I'll ask you this, since my evaluation is next month, do you want me or do you not want me to tell you what we're doing so far with these, or you just want me to not report on that?
Like right now, or?
No, at next.
At the evaluation
At the
time.
evaluation, do you want me to tell
We
you,
don't have the goal written.
you don't have goals? The only thing I could do is tell you what I'm doing, but that's just gonna be what I'm doing. It, you have not set a goal. So that's up to you. I'm just asking because I don't want to come not prepared.
I feel as though we didn't establish a goal thoroughly and give you probably the proper direction on it. So it wouldn't be, I mean, if you want to talk about it, that's fine, but it's probably not fair of us to evaluate you based on those topics quite yet.
Okay. And you're correct on their topics. They're not necessarily written as a goal.
Right.
Understood. Okay,
Well, the goal isn't written in there yet.
Right.
So we'd have to identify that goal. Yeah. Those are just those three areas that we wanted to focus in on the goal, but we never had time to write the goal. So
mhm.
We have a motion on the table for CBG-AR.
Second it.
It was second.
You seconded already.
Second.
Third.
All right, so all those in favor?
right.
Motion carries.
Okay,
and that would be CBG-AR.
yeah. So when you look up your policies, you look up CBG, that's just a short one that says superintendent evaluation. And then this will just replace the current list tool. Because it is a policy, so. And then we'll do second reading on it next time. We should be good to go. So, okay. All righty.
And I've adjusted my Columbia trip, so I'll be here.
Oh, good deal. You still get to go, don't you?
I don't know if I might send some other people down instead.
Oh,
It's just too much for him.
I don't need to do a lot of the training myself there anyway, so I can send other people to do it and save the company the cost of a ticket.
okay.
Unfortunately, that means I don't get to go to court.
Yeah, but you get to come to the board meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
There's some real adult decisions today. Not sure they were great.
You will have to bring cookies or something like that. I don't know, Preston. Okay. All right. Legislative update. I attached a couple of things. Guys, I get so much stuff. I don't know if you receive stuff from OSBA or anything, if you signed up for it or not. That ORED news I get, I think, every day. And the legislative update comes often as well. As you can guess, right now, my inbox is just flooded with stuff. And I've been on a lot of meetings. I've received a lot of publications, and I honestly didn't know what to share with you or not, because there's just so much. And right now, it's just a lot of it's just going on by, and you really don't know what's going to stick or be worthy of time. So I just sent you a couple of those links. If you want to subscribe to those yourself, you can. If there are others you like, that's okay. I usually focus in on stuff from PACE or Oregon school boards. That ORED news is pretty good, gives a pretty fair and balanced report. The main things that COSA and OSBA are lobbying for, which Will alluded to some of that, is unfunded mandates. They're just really, and COSA said last year, they will not support anything in the legislature that doesn't come with money attached to carry it out, because schools are stretched to the limit in terms of what they can absorb, what they can pay for without any extra funds. And they mentioned that again, they're sticking by that. So they won't support anything that doesn't come with extra money with it to pay for it. There's some talk about tag programs. They're a little bit concerned about that, which is fine for tag programs. That's not it. But there again, it's an unfunded mandate. They just want us to do more with it, but no money attached, because it takes time to do that. You've got to have somebody to be the tag coordinator, to write the plan, to do the assessment, all this stuff. So we'll see where that goes. We're not really sure. I have no problem supporting a tag program, but again, it would be an unfunded mandate as it is right now. And then they also said, this is from OSBA, Director of Government Relations and Communications. She said they talked about staying true. She gave testimony, she said this week, which had been last week, to stay true to our commitment to speak out against financially unsupported education requirements that undercut current service level guided funding. And that if they're going to move legislation without adequate resources, then we will need to have a conversation about how those costs become accounted for in the CSL calculation, because they're still trying to get CSL up where it needs to be. Governor did raise it significantly, and I do believe that it's solid now that she's going to allocated in a 49-51% split. And that's important because then in the second year of the biennium, when they're planning the next year's budget, it will get calculated on the 51 half of it, not the 49, because that's how you get behind in current service level. They keep calculating it on too low of an amount to begin with. So that'll help a little bit for that. The other things they're lobbying hard for are capping. We have an 11% cap on enrollment funding right now, even though the average for districts in Oregon is 15% of their student body is on IEP, so that's way underfunded. They're also working on early childhood and early intervention, special education, regional inclusive services, which are some of the services that, similar to what Lane was talking about, where you don't need the whole person. There are services that you need for some kids, but you don't need them for all, and you definitely don't need a whole person. So you share those around region to region, ESD to ESD. Special education is one of the top considerations for COSA for school districts, just because of the money that's attached to that and how far behind we are on that. Let's see. They said last year, just to give you an idea, it says state national average is about 15% of your enrollment, not 11. In the 2022-23 school year, districts did not receive the double weight, because you get a double weight for those kids that are on IEP. They did about 19,447 kids in Oregon were on an IEP, and districts were not given a double weight. So that's a lot of money. They're shorting districts for that. High cost disability, they're working on that as well. And that is the fund that reimburses districts when the cost to educate any student with special needs exceeds $30,000, but they don't give you all of the money above that cost. They just give you some of it. And they're trying to get more for that. But of course, they say they don't have enough money for that. So that's going to be a little bit of a battle too. So those are some of the things that OSBA and COSA are working on together. The other thing, let's see, that was on what I already told you, the bill, House Bill 2140 to do the 49-51 split. I do want to let you know that OSBA staff, this was in there, they had several of them went to, there were Oregon school board members, OSBA board of directors. Gosh, one of their Haley Purcell, she's the lead legal counsel for OSBA. She went, they all went back and lobbied for school issues, education funding in Washington, D.C. I think that was in February at the school boards, National School Boards Association Advocacy and Equity Institute in February. So they were there already lobbying for what we want, which is Individuals with Disabilities Act. Oh, this is what Monica, was it? Secure Rural Schools Funding Act, was that? That's it. I knew I had it here somewhere. That's what Monica was talking about, where the federal money we lost is gone. They're advocating for that, to reauthorize that. They talked about providing healthy meals at schools, protecting the Title I funding, which is kind of under attack right now too, serving low-income families, and opposing school vouchers, because those just take money out of public education system too. Not that maybe you don't want those, maybe you do want those, but taking it out of public education is kind of making it difficult. Yeah, and I have a whole thing on the Secure Rural Schools program if you want to know more about that, but I won't read it since Monica already talked about it. So OSBA and COSA and all the lobbyists, I think, are working pretty hand in hand and have narrowed down what they are lobbying for. But it's kind of like Lane said, things are so scattered right now at the federal level and at the state level, it's a little bit hard to know where anything stands at this moment in time. But I just kind of want to keep you guys informed a little bit as best I can on what's going around, what the talk is. But it's pretty crazy in terms of the first, I think I told you this, the first day that the Oregon legislature opened, there were 2,400 bills already on the floor. And the OSBA team and COSA especially were weeding through them, trying to figure out which ones had to do anything with education and to hone in on those and kind of they keep on top of that because they were expecting yet another about 1,000 bills to come in just within the next few days. Yeah, and they have to look at all those and decide what's worthy and all that, and they've identified their goals and main things that they're lobbying for us, and what are they going to, which ones are they going to support, not support, argue against, whatever, to try to keep our goals front and center. So that's a lot about that, but I'm just encouraging you to stay in the know with what's going on. It's pretty crazy, that's all I know, and it's going to be that way for a little while. In terms of the governor's budget, she put out her proposed budget, but nothing in that is solid either. She was at 11.36 billion. Some school districts are hoping that it goes up to closer to 11.6 maybe, but I have no idea yet. She hasn't come back on that. The 11.36 right now isn't even solid. So in terms of us trying to build our budget, I think at this point in time, right now, I feel like we need to be pretty conservative about it, but it may not be that bad. I don't know.
Was this year 10.1? Or was that 2 years ago?
10.2.
10.2.
Yeah. So she's brought it up a
Significant
lot.
increase.
It is a significant increase because she's listening about the CSL level. She really is, I feel. And that's one reason why that came up so much. But it has to stay there or even go up a little bit more. The whole SPED bill that they're talking about, if they want to do everything they're talking about in SPED, that's like 700 million just to do that. And they figure they'll get maybe 200 million out of that to make improvements in SPED. They know that 11% cap is inadequate, 15% cap is the average, or not cap, but number of percentage of kids on IEPs in any school, average 15%. They know that a lot of us are running way more than that. We're at 25. So 15 is a step, and they know that. It's just a step in the right direction. As long as they're doing that, that's encouraging. But anyway, just because it's kind of wild right now, it helps. If you guys are interested in keeping in touch with that, I just linked to a couple of documents that are pretty helpful to me, in case you ever just want to look on your own. Okay, let's see, next one. November policy update. Well, this turned out a little bit interesting.
Yeah, how are the lawsuits going?
Well, this is why I was kind of in a frantic panic just before the meeting, because this were all the policies, right? Okay, just when we did reading one, we did that and then got the list saying, skip all that. There are all these that you're not going to be able to touch right now. Well, we got today, this afternoon, late this afternoon, we got another update. Well, I guess it was late this afternoon when we found it. She sent it this morning. It told us which one of those policies we needed to leave alone and which ones we could go ahead and pass. And basically, here's what it says. Dear policy update subscribers, on January 9th, a federal district court in Kentucky issued a decision invalidating the 2024 updates to the Title IX regulations. So all this kind of comes back to Title IX. The ruling invalidates the rules that went into effect on August 1st, 2024. Presumably, this means that the previous rules effective in 2020 remain in effect. OSBA released updated policies on these topics in the November 24th update, which is this. And due to this court decision, OSBA recommends that we districts do not update the following policies. So we had that whole list. And it says that means then that previous versions of the policies that we have on the books then remain in place. So we're just supposed to leave those alone. So what Janet sent you was, I sent you look somewhat like this.
What I briefly.
Janet and I marked it up. Janet did. She made it really black. Those are the ones that we are not supposed to adopt. So what I propose is, since we've already done first reading on all the others, we just take out all of these and say, okay, we're not taking action. We'll keep our old policies on these, but we're okay adopting all the rest. Because the two you had questions on AC was one, and that had a question about, and I got responses.
That one we are adopting, just not the ARs.
Yes. I got information back about that. AC, we can adopt. Yes, that's still on the list. We can adopt. And I got language about that saying that we can just take out, that's where you had the word perceived in there. You didn't like about the perceived race, color, whatever. They said, just take that out. We can remove it if you want. It's not a biggie. Our old policy has it, take it out. So if you guys don't like it, that's what you can do with it. Take it out, okay?
Write it the way we want.
That completely changes it.
It could, but yes,
Because it's based on facts.
Not screw
Yes,
around with the process.
yes. So, because like we said, we
It
don't,
Says we can make our own policy, right?
well, at least you can take out that word. I don't know about, but I would say what you really need to remove in that policy though is not just the word perceived. You need to take out the words perceived or actual. Just take out both of those so that reads, including to an individual's race, color, it reads as a smooth sentence then, if you take out both of those words. You could leave actual too if you want. We didn't ask about that word, but they said we definitely take out perceived. It's up to you guys what you want to do on that. Okay, and then JFE, the other one you had a question on. I know I may be kind of getting ahead of myself.
It's one of the ones we're not adopting.
Right.
That we not adopt, however.
Right, but that was the one on, do we have to provide childcare? Well, Spencer's answer to that one was, no, you don't. It's just a suggestion. Okay, and he said, if you don't like that word, take out childcare. It just says, facilitate the provision of such services, including, I could see it go either way, but he says, no, you don't have to do childcare. It was kind of like a suggested list of things you could provide if you wanted to. We can take childcare out there too. So what I propose is to muddy the waters even further, even though we're not supposed to adopt this policy, I would like to readopt this policy and take out that word. So it's, if that's the way you guys still want it, because
Readopt the old policy.
and readopt
not-
the old
not the one
policy.
we were-
But
Yes.
amended.
Readopt our old policy because it doesn't have anything to do with their recommended new language anyway, that now they don't want us to consider. Does that make sense? Or did you completely lose? Did I completely lose you?
There's Bud.
The first one, makes sense. We're gonna change it to what we want.
Okay,
And then the second one, we already have
We already have a JFE on
on file,
file.
mhm,
but just adjust it and not adopt the new one, but readopt the old one with amended language.
yes, and all we have to do is take out the word childcare. That's it. And it doesn't even touch any part of any new policy. We're just gonna readjust our old one and take out that word. So, because it is in our old policy. But if you don't like it, let's take it out of the old one too. And I figured what I'd do then, I just send it in and I tell Spencer, this is not the new policy. This is our old policy. We're keeping it, but we're just taking out the one word and see if that flies with them. If it doesn't, then it doesn't.
So then with this, seems as though we've got more leeway on these policies than we previously thought.
Maybe so, because I never thought you could do that either. Never had anybody ever do it. But maybe so,
As far as just changing or
just a word here and there.
particular
Yeah,
words over the policies.
at least it bears asking, I think, Kristen.
Well, that changes everything.
Yeah, I think this is why we needed to talk to our lawyer when we first started the process. So,
Well, and I will just tell you guys, yeah, maybe that's true, but I have never, in all the years I've ever done this, have I ever been told we could change anything outside of what's in the brackets or what they suggest for us.
because OSBA says they don't want you to. That
But-
doesn't mean you can, it's our, policy. The board sets the policy. And so as long as our lawyer backs us up, that's what we're saying.
This came from
I
OSBA.
don't care about the OSBA lawyer. I'm talking about our lawyer. Because our lawyer is the one that's going to defend us when we get sued. And that's what I'm concerned about. But we can continue to waste more of that time talking about that.
Okay.
But I don't know.
So in AC, do you guys want, which words do you want to take out? You want to take out perceived, or you want to take out perceived or actual? Because the sentence has to read smoothly. You tell me. You can just take out perceived if you want.
Yes. Yeah, we probably.
Yeah, if you
Perceived or,
scroll down to page 7, that's where they start.
yeah. So that would just say including but not limited to individuals, race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation. So yeah, remove perceived or actual, cross that out, and then it would flow.
Okay.
And not leave any room for, and the only other option would be, we'd say actual or that seems implied if there's no option in there.
So do you want both words out then? Perceived or actual, those 3 words? Take them all out, okay,
Less.
okay. Then going to JFE, our current policy.
Let's sort of remove that
Actually, let me
further down as well.
do a link to that current JFB.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we put it in there. That way, the sentence, if you took out just the word childcare, number 2 on that page would say facilitate the provision of such services, including counseling, life skills, and parenting education, transportation, career development, health and nutrition services, pregnant and or parenting students. This takes childcare completely out.
What page is that on? Trying to get to it.
Oh, Janet, can you tell me?
97 pages.
Well, okay, maybe the easiest way is the JFB is towards the end
It is.
of all of that policy stuff that I linked to.
Mine. Might be easier to go to
Might
the
be
website
easier
and
for
find
me to
our own.
find the school. Yeah, it might be easier for me to find the link in our actual policy. There it is. I didn't even-
You can't leave when we're doing policies.
I know. Come on now, Jim.
Let's see, JFB.
So it'll be clear.
So on AC, are we removing the perceived or actual that's further down the paragraph as well?
I only saw it in the one place. Is it down there again?
Yep.
Which paragraph, Scott?
First, same one, first one,
Oh.
then it goes on.
Yeah,
Or because of the
about halfway
perceived
down.
Okay,
or
I'm
actual
gonna leave
race.
it to where it says second reading.
Yes, I think we need to.
Mhm.
So if you follow that link where it says second reading, just to the right of that November policy update.
Oh, I see, it's gone. Okay, yeah, take that out too. Yes. I'll take it out both places, correct?
Yes.
And it's a fairly short policy. I think it was like that item 2 in that policy. where it had the childcare.
Are you guys finding the,
Yeah, I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, because our old one, number JFE on number 2 says the same thing, same wording. Facilitate the provision of such services, including counseling, life skills and parenting education, childcare, transportation, career development, health and nutrition services. So that's why I'm hoping we can get by with changing it, because we're not changing any of the new stuff. Just keep the old, but take that word out. That's what you want to do.
That was JFE.
Yes.
Well, actually, JFE is not in the update because they took it out. We weren't gonna-
Right. Well, I looked it up on the website and looked at our old
So
one.
I just linked to the website.
Yeah.
Or the current one, I guess. Not really the old one, it's the current one.
Right. I said that.
Yeah, 'cause we haven't adopted it. Yeah, so the way that one reads is we would we take up childcare, but because that was our concern last time, was we'd be potentially on the hook for providing childcare if there's like sporting events and things like that. I mean, I think that we should be responsible for that.
Or anything, any school event. Or if they came here, because it was basically talking about parenting students, so.
Do we just want to get rid of the entire second number? I mean, that way we're informing them and helping them and providing them with information to assistance. Number 2 is the only one that is really saying that we will facilitate and provide all of this stuff. That makes it seem like any of that could be at our cost. I don't know. Maybe that's overkill, but
I see where you're coming from, but I'm comfortable with. Shoot, I get here.
I'm not opposed to us doing that, some of that kind of stuff. It's just good stewards in our
You
community,
don't want it in the policy.
but I don't necessarily like being contractually obligated to do it if that.
Okay, here's another suggestion he made, since you're going deeper than that. If you look at your notes down here in the red that I put, it says perhaps removing childcare from the list or replacing the word facilitating with accommodating. There's a difference between facilitating and
Yeah.
accommodating. So if you wanted to keep 2 in there, Preston, and say accommodate the provision of services, or you can say facilitate. To me, as I read that, there are some things that are appropriate for us to do with a pregnant and parenting student, like life skills, and we have life skills classes that we could offer that wouldn't be hard to do that. Transportation is going to be probably not
that-
think because they're taking kids on the bus.
And
or
that's what
anything like that.
that's where I
where you
struggle
have
with
a
it, is
hitch.
I get where, yeah, if we've got life skills classes that we can support
Yeah.
that student with, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Mhm.
But if we're offering those life skills classes, are we now having to, Jubal's having to arrange transportation outside of our regular busing schedule to get that student here so that they can do that class? And then we got to take them back and we have to have a separate teacher. I mean, it can become a daunting and costly process for us. That maybe we're okay with doing, but do we want to be obligated via policy to do it, I guess, is the. is the point of concern. Because it could quickly become not just hundreds of dollars, but several thousands of dollars if it's an ongoing thing and you're talking about running separate transportation twice a day to and from school, and then an instructor and car seats, and then we open ourselves up for liability of transporting an infant and I don't know. I understand, like I guess the humane or the human side of part of it, really, yeah, absolutely, we should facilitate that to help support our students. On the other hand, if we had a student that wanted to abuse the generosity of the district, then we're on the hook to do this for 5 years until that kid starts school. Because it's not just pregnant, it's or parenting.
Yeah, because there are some services there that we could easily provide, but there are some that you are right, would be costly and nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible. And then, like I said, it's not just during a pregnancy, it's or parenting, so that if it goes on to, right, worst case scenario, you're talking about a 7th or an 8th grader, and then until that kid becomes, they're starting kindergarten, they're walking as a senior.
Yeah.
3 or 4 more months. This is the kind, it hasn't happened, but it could, and it's, I guess it would help your enrollment numbers. Steps.
Please, go to that minutes.
I think the rest of it, I'm comparing the new one that we're not supposed to adopt to our old one, because ours is 10 years old, so I was seeing if there was major change to it in anything.
Number 4 kind of puts us on the hook too. I don't know, maybe not as much. Because everybody just have to provide the programs and schedules. That's more just like what we would have here at the school, but it doesn't address transportation.
Yeah, and we've done that and it was fairly easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually not where the problem is.
The transportation piece creates a different set of liability that I would just be for getting rid of number 2 and readopt the old policy omitting bullet point 2. Unless you guys think I'm being overly cautious.
I didn't know this was on the agenda. My agenda didn't have it on there, so I would have brought up my old notes, but I don't remember that, so.
This one, you got it.
Well, like I said, this was real last
You don't have
minute
time
and we
to
already
do it.
had,
Yeah, they sent us.
yeah,
We were waiting to hear back from them. And they
Yeah.
came back to us this morning.
Yeah, and we didn't really,
Well, since it just got back to us this morning with fairly new information, I think that we should be able to just table it once again and come back.
you want to wait till March? Okay. We can, yeah, because we're gonna still be in the same place with this one, because right now their directive to us is don't adopt this new one.
Yeah.
We know that, we're looking at the old one, and you're suggesting we revise the old one to be how you want it and leave out number 2, at least.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or you could choose to leave that one out like they recommended, and then you can look at it further next month as a separate adoption and change.
well, and we would have had we known, but when we looked at this the first time, that it was only that word that you guys had a problem with. Now you're finding more that you don't like about it, so that kind of opens up a different set of issues, which is fine. but it's more than what we considered in the first round, okay?
Correct.
So,
So you could, I mean, if you guys were fine with adopting all the other ones that you didn't have any issue with
From the first reading
from the first reading, um,
and amending the AC.
mhm.
yeah. I took out those 3 words, perceived or actual,
See, then you guys can worry
Twice.
about, you can worry about JFE,
then we can worry about it later.
yeah, next month. Because right now, they're just saying, do nothing with JFE, leave it as it is, so that next month you could pick it up and say, okay, we want to take and update the wording of JFE.
And the other thing, you might also want to just not do anything at this point in time and just let it set, not make any changes and see what they come up with on their own. That's the other option. You could truly do nothing with it right now.
Not just JFE.
Yeah, like they're telling you to do.
Yeah.
And we could just let our old ones sit there too. That's another option that you have.
What do you guys want to do? You want to table everything or look at the ones that we didn't have a problem with as a second reading?
Well, I guess the concern is if the rules changed about how we can
Yeah, do we want to go
edit and
through them with it?
review those other ones, then I think we need to reopen the whole darn thing again.
Yeah, go through them with a finer tooth comb again.
That's the problem with it. Or we do 2 every month or something, so we focus on just that, and
There are 19 in this.
I know. But if we don't have a new version, then, you know, even if ours is out of compliance, so we're gonna still have to follow the law. So I think we're just kind of spinning the circles on some of that. Not the process, the way it should be done. So I'd move to table.
Okay, so you want to table the whole bunch? What you're saying?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
That's my motion.
Do we need a motion to table it?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
Table is a motion.
Table is a motion. Second?
Yeah, but it's gonna be.
second.
So, been moved and seconded to table the second reading of
November policy update.
November policy update. Excuse me.
So you want them, then you want them on the March. And there's 3 more in December policies. I'm gonna bring, we're gonna get too far behind here. There's only 3. I looked at that. Okay.
Okay. All those in favor?
Was there any lawsuits out on the December ones yet?
Lawsuits?
Yeah,
No, not that I know about.
it just didn't take very long on the November ones before people were like, wait a second.
Well, all the November ones had to do with Title IX.
Yeah.
That one law affected all the ones in this batch. So,
Gotcha.
Starting all over.
okay, so add them to March. Agenda. I'm also gonna bring December. Or to March, that'll be first reading. Okay.
Okay.
And if you get me those tomorrow, I'll send them on to these guys in an email, the December policies, so that they can take a look at them. You guys, those links should still work for the November policies as well, or this link that I just put
Okay.
in for this month. as far as the policies that they,
Okay,
they're in there both ways. So if you go into the actual board packet folder.
Yeah.
For 24, 25, the original November policies are in there, in their own separate folder. But they're all, the new, with all the crossed out policies, the new one is linked in this. packet. Okay, for you guys. Okay, and I can get you a link for the December policy.
All right, school board elections, number 5. SEL 190 form to file with county elections official. That is if you are going to file for, if your board position is up and you're gonna refile for it, you need to fill this out. Okay, or anybody new who wants to apply for a vacant position coming up needs to fill this out. Okay, just so I know.
That Mark and Dwayne.
It's good.
Yeah.
3 and 4, 3 and 4.
3 and 4, yes.
Um,
You even know it.
Assuming we got the
What
right.
district you serve, I mean, who's your constituents? Come on.
There's a link to the form, but you guys may have already gotten something in the mail.
That I know. That's me, I don't have to.
Maybe Tina. got
Is it-
something.
Dwight, is he 3?
She probably.
No. it's
Dwight's
Mark-
5.
Or is it Mark?
It's Mark
Okay.
and Scott.
I was thinking it was Dwight and Scott. Okay.
It's decision time.
Keep tabling policies, you won't have to deal with them. July.
Okay, that's all I have, you guys.
Okay.
Takes us to the end.
All right.
Okay. Oh, wait, we have to go back to the first page though.
Oh, wait, we have unfinished.
We do, we have unfinished business.
The ESD, we adopted the tool.
We weren't going to adopt it. You're right. It's first reading, but.
So we have the ESD
Board
budget
member.
member.
Preston.
Yes.
I'm usually driving the wrong direction to make it to those meetings.
That's good. Hey, Dwight, he's not here.
Yeah, that's what happens when you miss meetings.
Or you can
Let's
also.
do that last. Oh, yeah, Cameron. he's-
I think Cameron, I don't think it has to be a board member.
Yeah, it
I think
doesn't
it could be Cameron. Okay, I believe I asked
Make a
about that
motion
last
for that,
time.
so-
I'm done at the end of the year, so I make a motion for Cameron.
I won't tell me you said that.
Well, I got a 5C card too, right in my pocket. It says, 5-year cancer card. Cancer made me sad.
Okay, now Janet, we already adopted the superintendent
Yes.
evaluation tool.
Yeah.
Did I
no,
get
just
that out of
added it-
order?
I added it 2 different places. I
Okay.
think, well, I
Make sure
think
we-
the unfinished business was so that it was on the agenda posting. for
Okay.
People to see that we're working on it.
I forgot it was there, so that's all right. And then ESD Budget Committee member, where are you guys with that?
Do we know if Cameron's all right with being a,
I think so.
I guess.
He went to one meeting already.
Oh, well, there it is.
It was already locked in. So we just need a motion.
I nominate Cameron.
You guys are ruthless.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right.
So what Cameron.
So- Yeah, the
Dwight will be the alternate.
okay, motion's been made and seconded to nominate Cameron for the ESD Budget Committee member. Further questions?
If he can't or is not willing, then we'll address it next month.
Right, yeah. I think you'll be fine with it, but
I'm just scared if I miss a meeting, what I'm gonna come back.
That's-
yeah.
that's-
So, all those in favor,
Oh, yeah.
oh, that's-
motion carries.
Okay.
All right, that's done. So, questions, comments, future agenda items?
Future agenda items, I have all the policies on there already. Is there anything else carrying over from this time?
We need to have a second reading and adopt the
Evaluation. tool.
evaluation tool.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And we need to
Yes.
enact the evaluation.
immediately
Next.
prior to the evaluation.
CB, was it CB?
CBG-AR.
dash AR. And then all other policies, I have it all written down. on my notes. November 2024. December. Okay, anything
Puts
else?
them in a pickle.
All right,
You got the calendar done, everything else? Kind of motored on through everything
I
else.
think we
didn't
got through it.
Okay.
Is there anything else we need for next month though?
Superintendent evaluation.
Yeah, we do it next month, don't we?
Yeah,
Prelim or whatever it is. No, the prelim's in the fall. I don't know what I'm thinking.
No,
Well,
You do
You'll
the
just
regular-
have your executive session at the end of the meeting, so you can adopt the tool before then.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I would suggest, because the only time that I remember, and you guys might remember, the only time that we've done it more than once a year is when I've like my first year here, I asked for it. Remember me saying that? I said, I want to know right off the bat. I think we did it in November or something, then the real one in February, and that's it. We didn't do like one a month or four or anything like that. But that's up to you guys if you want to do it that way, but
See,
it
and
needs to
that's
be
the-
decided.
And that's the
at the
pickle
meeting.
with putting the goals on that, is the goals should be done in the fall and then revisited when you do this evaluation. So,
I agree.
I mean, the goals can be a separate sheet, but just reflect, be reflected again on the evaluation form, but that's.
Yeah. Because we do need to be very specific on those. And it definitely needs to happen in the fall. Be identified in the fall.
So,
And I'm not, Dan, I'm just telling you this is how we have done it. We're doing it differently now. So I'm just saying we need to be specific about
Right.
how we want this, this procedure to.
just what's going on in my head is I'll just create another one of this, just with the goals, and that'll be the fall preliminary one. So that it gets adopted with this.
So you're just basically gonna take like that second sheet, because you already have them all
Right.
filled out, but then you need to have
Yeah.
spots, I think, for way up.
Yeah, I don't know that the goals should actually be in the policy, because the goals will change.
Well, just the template.
They're on the
Oh,
template,
oh, yeah.
but you need to have, you
That
just
way we
need to
don't
add
lose it.
spaces, like, if you wanna have 2 or 3 indicators under
Oh,
each one
absolutely,
or something that say, we wanna see this, 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 and this under
And
each one.
You caught me trying to condense it to 3 pages, otherwise it would have been another separate sheet, what it should be.
Well,
I didn't
I,
know if that's where we were going, so I just kind of threw it in the blank
Yeah.
space. I had.
Should we perhaps on our second reading and adoption, have more like we have a performance evaluation tool with goals addendum to be set in the fall each year and
Yeah.
evaluated in the spring?
Yeah, I can just put addendum to this and just take this goal stuff out.
Okay.
And it'd be addendum to this, and then you could use that same thing for both.
but it's still gonna all be part of that policy. CBG.
I think so, otherwise
Yes.
you lose it.
Well, yeah, and then it will actually be in with the policy. It's transparent to the public. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to look it up, it's gonna be right there on the website, as long as it's into that superintendent evaluation language. It'll all be right there. That's where you want it to be.
And we should have, so should the actual tool, that portion should say like there's addendum 1 to be determined in the August or September meeting, addendum 1 to be determined in the August or September meeting. And then reviewed during the review process.
I'll put those instructions right on that
Yeah,
new sheet.
As long as that's something that you want to do every time. I wouldn't put that on there if you're not gonna do
I'd
that.
almost put fall, as
fall,
opposed to designating a month.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
if you have a late hire of like a superintendent
Yeah.
or something, you're might have missed the month.
You might want to talk to them in the summertime about that. I mean, I would, yeah, but I would just say it needs to be there and then you need to do it that way all the time and don't deviate from that. If it's part of your policy, you need to follow it and do what you said you were gonna do. So be general enough to give yourself some room on that. But specific enough that you know what you're gonna do.
We'll use the term fall.
'Cause
Yeah.
I like autumn.
Sometimes
Nobody
the
uses
August
autumn
meeting
anymore.
gets skipped.
Autumn.
We haven't skipped a meeting the last couple of years.
Well, not the last couple of years.
Maybe-
No.
Maybe harvest season. Post harvest.
Yeah.
Should be
um,
goals to be determined post harvest.
Post harvest.
Harvest season starts in June, you know.
With evaluation to be completed pre-planting.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. Can we have an exception in there for snow plowing?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
all right, I don't know that we have any other future agenda items or anything.
Okay.
Questions, comments, concerns?
I'm gonna put second with goals. I'm gonna put that in my notes too. I don't have anything else
Okay.
unless something, I mean, there will be stuff that pops up, but for right now, I don't have any.
8:04.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, come on.
Oh, but we have to have on
Come
the agenda,
on.
Scott, for next month.
I'll
is
watch it on
retired,
television.
Hey,
all that
Preston, you know. who the
Contract
veterans are?
for
contract, Yeah.
Private school.